Welcome to On the Beat, everyone. I'm over here with Jeff Farnham, the owner of JTS Co Mortgage Professionals. Today we're talking all about rent versus owning your own home. Now, I know sometimes it's a little difficult to pull that money together to begin with to purchase their first home. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Always great to have you here. Last time you were on, we were talking about refinancing. So we're talking about people who already owned a home.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about people who rent versus buy. Someone like me who's always moving around and never in one market longer than maybe 2 or 3 years. Would you suggest buying or renting for someone like that?
Well, you know, buying is, to my opinion, always a better proposition, right? If it makes sense, right? So depending on purchasing power, depending on what interest rates are doing, relative to what rent factors are, relative to how long you're going to be there, does it make sense for you to buy? You know, if you're in a market where rents are $1,500 a month, $1,600, $2,000 a month, and mortgage rates are at 3.5%, 4%, then almost invariably you're going to be able to buy more house and have a lower payment than what you're going to have in rent. So it could make sense to do that. But conversely, if you're in a lower market, maybe with a smaller loan amount, and rents are $1,000, $1,200 a month, and rates are 7 or 8%, well, your payment might actually be a little more than what. So you have to weigh your situation out and look at it. But home ownership brings so much to the table as opposed to renting. And
look, here's the thing also. You know, we all hear that kids are staying at home longer to save money to be able to purchase their first home, right?
Yeah, well, and that's historically what we've seen.
Yes.
Today, as we watch Gen Z and we watch millennials, we're seeing them buy earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier at 22, 23, as opposed to 28, 29.
What is the going concern when it comes to down payments for a home? And do you believe if you do a 0 payment and a higher interest rate is to get into the market? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so a lot of people still have the misnomer, the misunderstanding they got to have this large down payment to buy a home, right?
Yeah.
That's not the case. We have programs that allow 100% financing. Then you couple that with, well, then I'm going to get a higher interest rate. Not necessarily. Under our USDA loan program, they track very closely with an FHA rate. So you're going to still get a good interest rate and maybe not put as much down or anything down. And again, with where rates are and have been in the past several years, not putting as much down may make more sense because depending on where you have your money invested, you may actually be making more on your money than what it's costing you by putting money down.
Okay, now I'd want to talk about rates now, adjustable compared to fixed. I personally don't know the difference. I know in Australia, my guy said to me 20 years ago, oh, you're just on a fixed rate. Well, I didn't know what, I just knew I was paying the same amount every month.
Right.
Because I didn't understand.
Yep.
So explain to everyone at home the benefits of having fixed or an adjustable one.
So a fixed rate means that the interest rate is fixed for your specified term, be it a 10-year, 15 or 30-year term. That interest rate's fixed. That principal and interest payment is never going to adjust on you.
Whether it goes good or bad.
Whether it goes good or bad, you're locked into your rate. Okay. Now, your payment could change depending on what happens with your taxes and insurance. Conversely, an adjustable rate mortgage is going to do just that. It's going to adjust on a specified period. Maybe it's a 1-year adjustable, a 3-year adjustable, a 5-year adjustable. Historically, an adjustable rate mortgage was good when, depending on where rates were. There used to be a pretty wide spread between fixed rates and adjustable rates. So if you were going to be in the home for 3 years, taking it, and let's say rates were 5, you might get an adjustable rate for 3.5 for that 3-year period. So it made sense if you knew, in fact, you were going to be moving during that time frame, right? But right now, the yield curves are so close together that there's very little difference between an adjustable rate and a fixed rate mortgage, right? So invariably, fixed rate, in my opinion, is a much safer, predictable mortgage product.
Okay, very quickly, and I've got to run, but tax benefits for owning your own home.
Yeah, so I mean, you still have the mortgage interest deduction up to a certain percentage point. You can write that off. Your financial security on home ownership. There's lots of benefits to owning a home.
And it's a great way to secure your future.
Absolutely.
All right, if you want to find out more information about JTS Co Mortgage Professionals, go over and give Mr. Jeff Farnham a call. He will help you and guide you. And I love the idea about smaller down payments. We appreciate you as always. Absolutely. All the information's up on the screen, everyone. Back after this short break.